3.1. Evaluate different techniques for sampling evidence of assessment, including use of technology. A provider must have in place a robust internal quality assurance system that is monitored effectively by an IQA. A provider will have a sampling strategy in place for sampling learner evidence. An EQA will view the sampling strategy and conduct their own sampling of learner evidence when they undertake a visit. To ensure internal policies and procedures are being adhered to and assessment practice is consistent between all assessors, an internal quality assurance strategy in an approved centre must include sampling assessments undertaken by the learner, sampling units of a qualification, sampling of different assessors and tutors. Now let us look at sampling in a little bit more detail. An assessor must have their feedback judgments and learner evidence sampled by an IQA. The IQA will consider the assessment feedback given to the learner by the assessor. Sampling can be formative or summative and undertaken randomly or can be selected. Formative sampling. This is undertaken throughout the duration of a qualification. Sampling assessment judgments is ongoing throughout the duration of the qualification. Formative sampling ensures that assessors are maintaining standards and learner evidence is meeting the requirements of a qualification. Formative sampling also ensures any errors or issues can be identified and dealt with as quickly as possible. Formative quality assurance should be ongoing throughout the assessment process, share good practice between assessors, and sample learner evidence and assessment judgments. Summative sampling. This is undertaken at the end of a qualification when all learner evidence has been completed and all assessment judgments have been given. Selected sampling. An IQA can request a specific learner portfolio or work to be sampled. Random sampling. An IQA can request a number of learner portfolios or work to be sampled without specifying particular learners. Sampling is usually undertaken as a percentage of the learners undertaking a qualification. For example, if 20 learners have undertaken a qualification, 10% of their evidence may be sampled by an IQA. The percentage of sampling that takes place is usually at the discretion of the awarding organisation. If applicable, 100% of learner evidence may be sampled. This may take place if any issues have previously been identified within a centre or an assessor is newly qualified. Sampling evidence of assessment can take place in many different ways. These can include on-site at a provider or remotely away from a provider, using hard copies of evidence or using electronic copies of evidence such as e-portfolios. Evidence of assessment can be obtained using technology such as Skype, digital cameras or camcorders, digital audio recorders or dictaphones, tablets or smartphones. When sampling evidence that has been gathered using technology, an IQA can ask for copies of electronic recordings to be sent to them. Technology can be used to support and enhance the IQA process, and this is particularly useful when the IQA is located in a different area from their assessors. A virtual learning environment, e-portfolio, or cloud-based system could be used by the learners and assessors to upload completed work and records to. This would enable the IQA to sample various aspects remotely at a time to suit. Reports could then be completed electronically, uploaded to the system, or emailed as required. Meetings and standardisation activities could also take place remotely, for example through video or teleconferencing or webinars. Not everybody needs to be in the same room at the same time for activities to be effective. Materials could be produced and circulated electronically prior to the remote meeting and then discussed when everyone is accessible. Never assume that staff are familiar with how to use various aspects of technology. Training sessions may need to be carried out and resources might need to be updated to support their use.